Twitter. Yes, Twitter. We're going to talk about a little bit about Twitter tonight. It is known to be the nervous center of the internet because everything happens almost practically real time. You send out a tweet, in between 0 and 10 billion people can see it. Well, there's not quite 10 billion people out there, but there's a lot of people out there can see this. The AP, who is also on Twitter, got their account hacked by people who are known as
pro-Syrian presidential hackers.
Yes, pro-Syrian presidential hackers. Yes, thank you, Crystal. And yeah,
you're welcome.
And this is not the first time they've done hacking. And what they did was when they got onto the AP's Twitter account, what they did was a spear phishing attack. Now there are two different types of attack out on the internet. There's what's called a phishing attack and what's called a spear phishing attack. Now there's a very important distinction there. A phishing attack is a wide attack. It's like it sends out multiple messages to multiple people, the same thing, hoping that someone bites and so they can get their password. A spear phishing attack in this instance is someone who is especially targeted to get their information. What happened here was the AP employee was tricked into going to what looked like an official Twitter page and entering the company's password. What they tweeted out once they got the access to the Twitter account that a bomb had gone off at the White House and that the president was hurt, which made all the stocks tumble for about a few minutes. Once they realized that the account had been hacked and the president was not injured, it actually wasn't even at the White House when this supposedly had happened, the stocks shot right back up. And all trading for that time period was all suspended. So if let's say you thought, hey, I'm going to throw out a fake tweet and corner the stock market in that few moments where it's gone down so you can get the best price, forget it, because what they did was they null and voided all those transactions. So you're not going to do any get-rich-quick scheme that way. Crystal, your thoughts?
Well, I think Twitter's getting a little bit of a bad rap about this one. I think that, they're talking about Twitter needs more security and like a 2-level thing, kind of like Google's doing, to where you've got actually kind of got to do 2 passwords, and I know you know the correct term for that. But actually, it's just like the analogy, you can buy all the expensive door locks in the world and it's not going to do you any good if you leave the keys in the door. I think that it's just this password thing. We're just, I think their passwords are not secure, and maybe somebody was the victim of a phishing attack or whatever, but I think it probably really comes down to the AP really not having a great password, or too many people having that password or something. And I think Twitter's kind of catching the heat for this, when I think really AP should probably take their responsibility and not protecting that password.
Well, I think part of it is that to train the employees that have access to the password to make sure that the sites that they go to are the official sites and not a bogus one. Because a spear phishing attack in this instance, they went to a page that looked like the Twitter's login page, and these pages are out there. They'll say, hey, there's something wrong with your account, or they'll send you some weird thing there, and they'll know that these people it was directly targeted at this employee in this instance. It made it look like it came from another employee. So it says, hey, there's something wrong with the account. You better go check it out. As they went to the hackers-twitter.com and logged in and go, oh, well, typed in the password. Well, why isn't the password working? I can't seem to log in. I've actually had this happen to me. Well, when I was first new on the internet and on an old an account I had, and I didn't even realize I had been hacked or phished in this instance. So it even happens to me. So
well, sure, and but I think something as big as AP account, something that's can be as widespread and as devastating as an AP account could be. Sure, we're all susceptible to this phishing stuff, and CBS, 60 Minutes, Burger King, Jeep, all these people have been hacked within the past couple of years. We're all vulnerable to that and need to be careful. But somebody as big as the AP should definitely, I think, be more cautious. I mean, for the stock market to fall 140 points in minutes.
Yep.
$164 million, and I invest in the stock market.
Well, you fortunately, actually, Medusa, for you, it didn't. It wouldn't have, because all trading that was happening in that time period was suspended. So you're all right, and so is everybody else, fortunately.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
My attitude about all of this is whatever man makes, man can break.
Right.
And along come a group of renegade hackers, and Twitter is a plum,
Uh-huh.
On the tree of social media. It's top tier. Who better to hack? I do think I agree with Crystal insofar as AP taking the heat for this.
Mm-hmm.
The only complaint I've ever had about Twitter is they need more servers.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because every once in a while they still give the fail whale out there. So, and 60 Minutes was also hacked by the same group as well. So they're not the only ones. But the main thing here you have to remember is you just have to be careful of what pages you go to. Especially nowadays, and I've used this on Windows machines, and especially on the newer ones, you click on a link or something, and the top bar is missing. You don't even know where you're going half the time. So if you're out there, you're using Internet Explorer or Firefox, and you don't see where you can type in a web address, be sure that you turn that function on. If you don't know, look it up, and just turn on address bar in Google, and or just go to Google if you can, and just make sure that's turned on. So this way you can look at the address and make sure you're checking out where you're going to. That's all it takes sometimes.